did we use that data for? We used it solely for performance, to make the car ride better over the curves. And also we used it to egg on the driver. Because we have two drivers in a team, you could put one driver's data on top of the other driver's data and say, David, Mika is braking 5 meters later, he's in a higher gear and gaining 0.3 of a second. Maybe you'd like to have a go at that. So it was solely for performance. But twinned with this fun, Formula One had a dark side. Between 1950 and 1994, we suffered 47 fatalities. We lost over one driver per annum. And it all came to a head at one brutal weekend, 1st of May 1994. In that weekend, on the Friday, a driver called Rubens Barrichello broke his arm, broke his collarbone, was sidelined. 24 hours later, and 20 minutes into qualifying, an innocuous accident happened where Roland Ratzenberger went off the track, but unfortunately suffered a basal fracture and lost his life. Then, in the race itself on the Sunday, triple world champion Ayrton Senna, after a safety car restart, went off the track and also sadly lost his life. Now, this was 3 drivers, or 15% of our athletes, taken out in a period of 72 hours. The sport could have collapsed on itself. But instead, what happened is we said, all of the teams are actually recording this data. Can we, instead of using it for performance, repurpose it? Can we predict and understand the anatomy of an accident? Because accidents will happen when you're doing 250 miles an hour at 6 centimeters apart. So given accidents are going to happen, if we understand the anatomy, can we make it survivable? And that's exactly what we did. And between 1994 and present day, over 30 years, we've only had one further driver fatality. So that's an incredible, absolutely incredible statistic and turnaround. And we didn't stop there because we are continuous improvement machines. Within 3 years, we started crashing road cars deliberately and created the Euro NCAP safety rating. And in the first 20 years of that, we saved an estimated 80,000 lives in Europe alone and counting. So out of one awful event is created an amazing legacy, which keeps giving today. Now, I'd like to show you what I'm talking about when I say an accident and show you what's survivable by today's standards. If you look in the bottom left, you see a car go to the right and hit the barrier. The force is so great, the car gets ripped into two, and the driver is actually sitting in that burning inferno. Now, we talked about a force of 4G under braking. That driver received 67G when he hit the wall. But unbelievably, within 27 seconds, he hops out of the burning flames on his own and walks to the medical car. There he is there. Now, it's without irony that it wasn't an accident he survived that accident. It was actually good planning and preparation and predictability. So I'm going to take you through that a little bit. So I think the important thing is the use of data in this process, because in the top left-hand corner, you can see the hoop above the driver's head. That's called the halo. Now, what I love about this device is that none of the drivers wanted it in any way, shape or form. They said, if you have a halo, it will ruin F1. It won't be open wheel racing because you can't see the driver. However, the data was so overwhelming in 2018, it was mandated that this was coming in regardless of driver opinion. In its first year alone, it saved Charles Leclerc's life. It's also saved Sir Lewis Hamilton's life. And on this day in history, it punched a hole in the barrier you can see on the top right-hand corner, protecting the driver's head. So I love this story because it just embraces data. It leans into the risks to get a better outcome.